What's going on, guys? I got another project today. ...2011 Cadillac CTS. So what happened was you know how typically the headlights get all foggy and you try to clean them off and they clear it for a little bit, but they come back. Well, these have come back, I can't tell you how many times now. So we are going to be replacing these today. It's a little bit of work, a lot more than what I'd like to do, but in order to get this headlight removed, we actually have to remove the front bumper, which is this whole big piece right here, because there's a bolt here and then there's a bolt here, and then of course the third bolt is up here. But in order for us to do that, I've got to remove the whole thing. It's not a ton of work, but it's tedious. There is tons of little clips. So if you do this project, make sure you got a spot to put everything and keep up with them, because there is literally pop tabs galore to remove this. Because if you know about Cadillac, I mean, they put plastic and pop tabs on literally the whole engine bay and everything. So give me a second, I'm gonna get everything ready, and then we're gonna start tearing this apart. All right, first things first. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little twist pins that you have to untwist, because we need to remove this whole front shield, which this little weather stripping is actually part of. I've seen a couple models that have the plastic covering this area. This one, either somebody lost it, you know, this is a used vehicle, but either somebody lost it or it just never came with it. But we don't have to deal with it, because normally you would have to pop this off. It covers up this area, but like I said, we don't have it. So I'm going to untwist all these. Very simple. You don't have to put a lot of pressure. You just twist, pop, comes right out. So I'm going to remove these, and then we'll go to the next step. Next step, because this grill has to be removed, there's two 10mm bolts right here that hold the top of this grill on here. I'm also going to go ahead and just probably loosen these up to where they can just be hand tied, just so I can get that done with. But yeah, just two 10mm bolts, and then we'll move to underneath the bumper where the thousands of clips are that are holding the bottom on.
All right, here's where I want to show y'all the millions of tabs. It's literally all across. Good news is we don't have to remove all of them. It's pretty much every other one. So for instance, this one has to be removed. This one has to be removed because it's the one that's attached to this. These bigger clips we don't actually have to touch, so that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start tackling these little clips, get this disconnected, and we'll go on to the next step. All right, now that I've removed all the clips all the way around, there's two more you got to remove right here that connect to this little side piece. These Cadillacs have hoses that this one has the cutout in it, but they have hoses that push cool air towards the brakes. So you have a little small clip here and a clip here you got to remove, and then we have to remove these bolts, which removes this little skid plate right here, and we can finally access the fog lights and make sure. There's two more small clips up in there that we got to get to, but I'll show you that in just a second. All right, now that we got this piece taken out, we've got to move to the wheel welds. There's 3 push pins here, and then one way back in here. This one's gonna be tricky. It's probably easier to remove the tire, but I am not about to do that. So I'm gonna remove these 3 pins and peel this back, and then there's a 10mm bolt right around here somewhere that I've got to undo to then release the bumper. All right, so once you take this 10mm bolt out, these clips, if you've never removed it before, this bumper is hard to get this unclipped. So what I had to do is I took a pick with a 90 on it, and I ran it up underneath, and I pulled down everywhere there's a tab. There's 4 little tabs right here.
that correspond with the bumper. So each time I would just take the 90 pick and pull down and slowly pop it off, and it came off much easier. Also, you can't see it from underneath, but there's these two little flaps right here that when you try to take the bumper off, there's these two little push pins that are held on there that you can't really see once you're laying on your back underneath it. So just be careful when you go to pull the bumper off that you don't tear this. This was something that I had to fool with for a minute, but it's not hard to get off. All right, so the last thing, so that we can remove these out, there's 3 10mm bolts all the way around. I've already removed the top ones with the rest of them when I was taking everything off the top, but there's one up there, there's one in the front, and there's one right here. And then we'll be able to remove these and then install the new ones. All right, now that I've pulled this out, super easy to disconnect because everything's involved in this one thing. You just press this one little thumb tab and you wiggle it off and it disconnects. So I'm gonna get the new one out of the box. We're gonna get everything fitted up right. I'm gonna put it in.
Well, Pop.
All right, so we plugged in the new headlight housing. However, we didn't like how dim the bulbs were. So I have ordered a new set of LED bulbs. And once they get in, we'll put the new housing in, put the new bulbs in, and it'll look good. But until then, it's gonna be about a day or so. So we'll see you then. All right, we are back a couple days later. I went ahead and put the lights in because it's getting kind of dark. I'm running out of time. But I wanted to show y'all, I bought this box of Oxylam LED light, and they actually look really good. We've already tested them once. I'll show you when we get done how they look, because it'll be dark by the time we get to it. But the new headlight housings look really good compared to the old ones. Got a good look, low high. This LED is a running light, and then it has a little small LED blinker, which is really clean looking. But I'm gonna start buttoning everything up. I've got to get the bumper on here. I've got to get all the pins in it, all 25 of those. And then once I get the bumper on, I'll give you a look of how the lights look in the dark. All right, so it's a little bit hard to see, but we got everything put back together, everything bolted up, all nice and clean. The headlights look really good in here. And we're gonna turn them on, and I'm gonna show you. You can go ahead and turn on the low beam. That's the low beam now. We took out the little regular bulbs that it came with and did this. Put 6K H7s in. That's the size you need if you decide to get this housing and you don't want that normal yellow bulb. I hate the look of that yellow bulb. Well, it's got the LED strip. It also has its little orange running light, but that is its blinker as well for this housing. So that's the low beam. And then you can do the high beam, which is even brighter. And I can come over here and you can see low beam, high beam. And strip on this side, running light blinker on this side as well. All right. But all in all, it was a pretty easy install. It didn't take too terribly long, except for the Cadillac having 25 clips underneath to remove the plastic under paneling. But other than that, the housing were probably around 320 bucks, and the LEDs were roughly, I think, about 26 bucks for a pack of 2, and we had to get 2 of them because both the high and the low beams are H7s. But I'll link everything down in the description just in case y'all want to get it. But I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you in the next one.